Hi everyone, I'm so glad you're here today. It's me, Lindsay, with Good Life with Lindsay. We are not doing yoga today. We are going to do a short circuit of movements that you can do anytime if you're short on time for a workout and are feeling like, hey, I got to do something. I'm not quite sure what to do. Something like this is one of my go-tos when I am feeling like, well, I don't want to do a full workout, but I want to move. So we're going to be moving our bodies today. We're going to start by doing a little bit of a warm up, and then I'm going to talk you through each of the 4 exercises that we're doing so that when we do them, you've got some cues and tips to be thinking about so that you're doing them correctly and moving your body in as good of a way as possible. So you might want to have a set of weights optional. You don't need a mat. Another optional prop today might be something to squat to if you're not sure about how strong your legs are, how far you want to squat down. So I'll show you through and talk you through all of those. So I'm going to start on one side of my mat for our warm up today. I lovingly refer to this as the baby gate exercise. It's going to get us moving and warming up our hips. So we're going to pretend like we're stepping over a baby gate. So I'm going to lift my right leg up as high as I can, step over the baby gate, lift my left leg up over as high as I can to step over the baby gate. And then I'm going to take a big step and squat down like I'm going underneath the baby gate. And since we just have a small space, we're going to go right back in the other direction, lifting my left foot up over the baby gate, right foot up and over, and then I'm going to take a big side step and go under the baby gate. The height of which you are lifting your legs and squatting under is going to be totally unique to you. There's no right or wrong height or way to do this. It is simply just opening up our hips and getting some movement in. All right, we're going to do a couple more. You can do whatever you want with your hands too. If you want to like be stepping them up, sweeping them down, circling them around, you can do whatever feels great for you. Now, I have been doing a lot of sitting this week and eating more sugar than maybe I should have. And so this feels really nice, getting some movement into my joints, low impact, getting some stretching along as well. We're going to pause there and we're going to go ahead and warm up a little bit more of our upper body and torso. So we're going to do an exercise that is going to be slow and focusing on our shoulder range of motion. There's going to be some words that I use, palm up or facing forward, and then pinky leading the way down. So I'm going to face to the side here so you can see some of this. So I'm going to start with my right arm. I've got my palm facing forward in front of me. I'm going to lift my palm up all the way to my ear. Then I'm going to rotate my shoulder and my hand so my pinky circles down and around. And once my pinky reaches my leg, I'm going to rotate my palm forward again. This is slow and controlled. We don't want our torso to be moving. We want the movement to all come from our shoulder joint. Palm up to the ear, rotate in the socket, pinky down, pinky leads the way all the way down to your leg. Rotate palm forward, all the way up to the ear. Reach and stretch, rotate in the shoulder joint. Pinky leads the way down. We're going to do 2 more. This should feel like a pretty nice big open stretch, getting that shoulder joint moving. I know my right shoulder is the one that I have the most trouble with, and this feels really good. All right, nice job. I'm going to face you for my left so you can see I'm not doing a lot of rotating with my torso. So palm facing forward, lift all the way up to your ear, rotate in the shoulder joint, Pinky leads the way down. We're keeping our belly active as we lift up. Reach, 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 rotating the shoulder joint. Pinky leads the way down. The idea is that if we were doing this next to a wall, that we could have our hand not touch the wall. So when I first started these, my range of motion on the back end was not amazing. So on this descent, it's still not great, but keeping your arm as close to your body as you can as your pinky leads the way down. I think we have one more, maybe two. It's cool. All right, let's roll out those shoulders. And now we're going to talk about our shoulder blade positioning a bit. And I'm wearing a full shirt, so you're not going to be able to see this. So I'm going to describe it as best I can. When we shoulder roll, we roll our shoulders up and back and down. When we get to that up, back, down, and that down position, that's going to be a really strong position. Positive, good for our shoulder as we're doing some of our pressing movements later today with push-ups. We want to keep our shoulders in this back and down position for this next exercise. So I've got my shoulders back and down. I'm going to reach my arms out to the side, capital T position. I'm going to have my thumbs point forward. I'm just going to tuck my fingers in, and I'm going to circle forward. Small circles moving from my shoulders. It's all movement coming from that shoulder joint. We have a lot of little muscles that connect in and help us move our shoulders. Boy, do I know those well. So we're going to do about 20 in this direction. And this is nice because for me, as I sit and do a lot of computer work, or even as maybe I have some hunched forward posture, this is opening up for me some of the front of my chest, my pec minor, my pecs, and it's getting some of those smaller rotator cuff muscles engaged and working. We're going to pause. We're going to flip our thumbs behind us so they're pointing away, pointing behind us, and we're going to switch the direction of our circles. So our circles move in the direction of our thumbs. And I feel this this backward thumb back rotation. Ooh, I feel that. So we're going to be doing about 20. And even if, even if we're just standing, those of you who have done some yoga with me, that mountain pose, Tadasana, the rest of our body is active as well. My shoulder blades are still in that down and back position. My legs are engaged, so they're not just hanging out like I'm waiting in line. And my core is turned on. All right, let's go ahead and gently release. Maybe we roll the shoulders out again. And we're going to do some side bending and some twisting from our standing position. We're going to inhale, reach our arms nice and high. Exhale, right arm down your side, left arm up and over, getting a nice side stretch through our left side. Inhale to center. Exhale, left arm down, right arm reaches up and over. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Nice big reach. Inhale to center. Exhale, reach. Inhale, center. Exhale, right arm down. Inhale to center. Last one. Exhale, side bending. Inhale to the center. We're going to do some twists now. We're going to exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. Look back over your right hands. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist, left arm forward. Right arm forward, left arm back. Look over your left hand. Inhale to center. Twisting, left arm forward, right arm back. Follow your back hand with your gaze. Inhale to center. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. One more each side. Inhale to center. Exhale, left arm forward, right back. Inhale, last side. Exhale, left arm back, right arm forward. Inhaling to center. Exhale, release those arms. Good job, guys. Okay, we're going to come down onto all fours. And we're going to find our tabletop position. So remember, we have the tops of our feet resting on the floor, and they're going to be pressing gently into the floor so that we activate our legs in this position. We're going to be pressing our arms and shoulders away from the floor so we have that tension. Our armpits, not armpits, our elbow pits are facing forward. And we've got widening our shoulders a little bit here, and our belly is turned on. You can't see that under my shirt, my big saggy shirt, but it's turned on, belly button towards spine. We're going to inhale to cow, dropping the belly, lifting the hips, shining the heart forward, shoulder blades come towards one another. Exhale to cat, rounding the spine. Oh, guys, I don't have a lot of movement. I've been sitting too much. Inhale to cow. Cow feels good. Exhale to cat. Oh my goodness, widen those shoulder blades. Chin to chest. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Move any way that you need to. And this last cat-cow. Oh, my back is really stiff. And come on back to tabletop. All right. We're going to hop onto our feet now, and we're going to talk about our squat. I'm going to try to do this in about 60 seconds. Wish me luck. So we're going to start from the ground up in our squat. We want our feet to be about shoulder width. Hip width is too narrow, so about shoulder width. If you need to go a teensy bit wider, that's okay. Toes are slightly turned out. This is going to give us some torque and tension in our leg muscles. Okay, so here we are. We want to keep our core engaged. One way that we're going to do that today is by having our arms reaching up overhead. This is going to allow us to engage the strength of our back as we squat and help us not to fall forward. Okay. The other thing that we're going to do once we have our feet positioned is we're going to think about pushing our knees out to the side. I'm going to face you again for this. So as we squat back, we want our knees to press open and our knees to track over our toes. So our toes are slightly out. That means our knees, as we squat, are going to go out to stay over our toes. All right. The other key thing about our feet is that we want most of our weight to be in our heels. So when I squat down, my weight is staying in my heels. I can lift my toes, but they're there to help me balance. What I don't want to see is squatting and heels coming up. That's not what we're going for. Maybe in another type of squat, not today. All right, so here we go. We're going to reach our arms up, engage our back, and we're going to sit back in our heels, hips go back, knees go out. All right. Inhale. Hold your breath as you exhale or as you lower. Exhale to stand. Deep breath in. Hold tight. And exhale as you stand. Deep breath in. Exhale. Come on up. Now, if you are feeling like, I don't know how far I can go, I can't keep my chest upright, that is a-okay. I got to share a quick story about these chairs. Once upon a time, I bought a table set, and these were some of the chairs. I moved downstairs in my house recently, and the nice chairs that don't have a frayed top are upstairs, because we used to have different people living down here, and we're like, well, we'll give them the chairs that don't look very nice. Well, here I am. I'm living downstairs and with the not so nice chair. So I'm hiding the frayed side. But now I'm not hiding it because you know. Okay. If you want, you could be squatting to a chair, to a couch, to a box. If you're not quite sure how low you want to go, if you're like, squatting does not feel super great to me. So if we're going to squat to a chair or squatting to any sort of target, I recommend squatting with the point between your legs. It just gives you more space as you're squatting down for your legs. So I'm set up in the same way. Feet are about shoulder width, toes pointed out. I have my back engaged. And as I sit back into my squat, as soon as I feel that target, I'm going to press back up. I sit back, I feel the target. I'm not letting go. I'm not sitting down and loosening anything. I'm keeping all my muscles engaged and standing up. So you can do that to any height of target that you want if that is helpful. Just an option, not necessary. Okay, we're going to move on to push-ups. And one of the things with push-ups that I have found is that many people do not teach how to have your shoulder in a safe position in push-ups. So I'm going to try to do about a minute of that. So do this with me. Reach your hands out in front of you, and they're going to be about shoulder width or maybe just a little bit wider. You're going to turn your hands. Again, we want our elbow pit facing forward, and you notice I'm creating this V with my index finger and thumb. We want the point of that V to be forward. I'm not describing that exactly right, but hopefully you can see that okay. When we do this, we also want to turn on our shoulder blades. Well, we turn on the muscles around them. So instead of having them like loose and saggy, as we lock in, we're going to rotate and turn on and lock in our shoulder blades. So a little bit different than what we did with that down and back position in the roll, but we are going to lock them in, make them active. Okay. So from here, we know that position. We're going to come down onto our knees. We're going to start on our knees because that is easier. We're all about ease here. We're going to find that hand position with the base of our V, that forward we're intersecting the V. Look at me using math terms. My math teachers would be so proud. So find that hand position, and then you're going to find whatever position is comfortable for you here on your knees. We don't want to have your butt in a 90-degree angle. We want to bring your hips down as much as you can. So from here, I've got my shoulder blades on and all of my supporting musculature turned on. My elbow pits are facing forward. I have my belly engaged like I'm in a plank. And from here, I'm going to lower and lift. My elbows are going to stay close to my side, but not flailing out. This helps us keep a strong, solid shoulder position. So I want to show you one other thing real quick. When I go into my push-up, my elbows aren't going out to the side. That hurts. That's really bad for your shoulders. So the reason why we turn our hands slightly out is so that we can keep our elbows in a more tucked in, locked in position. And it allows us to access in a more stable position our pecs and our triceps for those push-ups. Okay. All right. Next position, we're going to lay down. We're going to walk through some leg lift options. And when we do leg lifts, the most important thing that I want you to think about is getting your belly button to your spine and keeping your low back on the floor. You might not be able to do that perfectly, but that's the action we want. This is creating a hollow body. We use the term hollow body in gymnastics a lot, but we want to be able to create some of that hollow body. So to keep our low back on the ground, we're actually tilting our pelvis a little bit. So our pelvis rolls. Hey, okay. So thinking about that position, belly button to spine, low back on the floor, we're going to bring our legs up into a 90-degree position, and you can have your hands under your bum, or you can have them cradling your head, but our neck and head is going to stay nice and relaxed. So from here, we're going to try to keep our core turned on, belly button to spine, low back on the ground as we tap or march our toes one leg at a time down to the ground. Why do we do single leg? Because it allows us to maintain a stronger hollow body position as we do leg lifts and as we develop strength. It takes a lot more strength in our abdominals and core to do two legs together. And if we haven't developed the strength yet to maintain some of that hollow body through our core as we do leg lifts, it's not going to provide the same benefit that you're looking for in terms of core strength. All right, so if that feels good, awesome. You might try, here's a couple other variations. You might try lengthening one leg and bringing it in. That might be what your leg lift looks like today. This is more challenging. We're lengthening our lever, which makes the weight of our legs heavier. So more challenging. You might also try, if you're like, easy, you can have both feet up towards the sky and lift one leg, straight leg, or mostly straight down. So as we bend our knees in these options, knees bent make our legs lighter. Legs straight makes them heavier. All right. So keep that in mind. You can try out a couple different versions. We're going to roll on up. And the next thing that we're going to do is some bent over rows. So working on some back strength. So you can have weights for this. You might not have weights and it'll work out just fine. So find about a hip width position with your feet, and you're going to hinge forward from your hips and bend your knees. So we're going to be ending up in a position like this, okay? We want to keep our core on, back nice and engaged and straight, long neck, okay? With your hands hanging down by your side, we're going to scoop those shoulders and find that down and back position so our shoulder blades are on. And we're going to practice lifting and pulling our hands towards our waist to about that belly button level, okay? Why do we pull towards our belly button? That is going to engage more of our lats, those latissimus dorsi. That's actually where one of my nicknames came from in high school. My last name is Shalati, lats. Anyway, not really from the muscle. Okay, if you have weights, you might use any sort of dumbbell that you have. I've got a pair of dumbbells here. If you are wanting to add weights to this, absolutely you can. So I might recommend getting your shoulders and shoulder blades locked in and then hinging forward, feeling your shoulder blades on and pulling your weights towards your belly button. If you have dumbbells, it's like your dumbbells are almost pulling back towards your hips. Okay. Yay, bent over rows. All right. So now that we've practiced and gone through some of the movements, and I'm sure I talked way longer than I meant to. That is a problem I have in these videos, guys. We're going to go through a couple rounds of the circuit. You can do as many reps as you want at whatever speed you want. I'm going to take it in a slower pace so that I can talk through some points of performance, and there's no pressure to go faster than me or slower than me. Do whatever you need to do. So I would recommend, if you are able, maybe you do sets of 10. We're just going to do sets of 7 today for each movement. And if you need to adjust a movement, like for me, push-ups in my shoulders, that would be the movement that I reduce. So maybe instead of doing 7 with all the others, maybe you cut back and do 5. It's totally fine. Your body, your movement, your journey to build some positive muscle patterns, movement patterns, and strength. Okay, so let's start with our squats. Well, I'm going to do 7. We're going to do 4 rounds. You can do whatever you want. You can even turn off and do this on your own. You don't have to do it with me. So squats, we've got our feet hip width, arms up, reaching our hips back, knees go wide. 1, hips back, weight in your heels. 2, your gaze should be looking out in front of you, not towards your toes or your knees. Reaching back, there's 4. We didn't talk about squat depth, and that's fine. We're building some strength. Squat depth is a factor. I think we have one more, but we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on knees out, weight through our heels, push-ups. So we're going to come on down to the ground. I'm going to continue with knee push-ups today because that's what I'm choosing. You might choose to do push-ups from your toes, and that's awesome. We're going to do 7. So we have our shoulder blades. The shoulder blades are bone. They don't actually turn on, but the muscles around our shoulder blades are engaged, and we've got them active. Elbow pits forward, lower and lift. Lower and lift. Go as far down as you want. Elbows stay near your side. Remember, as you lower, ideally, your chest or that nipple line comes down in line with your hands. I think this is 7. Because my push-ups are weak. Okay, roll on over. Leg lift time. Find whatever feels comfortable for you. I'm gonna do a mix of the leg lift. So mostly straight all the way down and all the way up. We're going to do 7 on each side. So technically a total of 14, but that's okay. My belly is engaged, belly button to spine. Think about that bracing of a corset, turning on those transverse abdominals. Brace it. And one thing I'm really not good at is talking while I count. So I think we're going to do 1 more on each side, and that should be about 7. Belly button to spine, and roll on up. If you want weights, grab them. If you don't have them, not a problem. We're going to do our 7 bent over rows. So feet are about hip width. Pull those shoulder blades back so the muscles around them are active. And as we lift and lower, hands go to the belly button. Well, not to the belly button, but that belly button area. Let me just show you here if you're watching. My hands and arms stay on the side of my body, and that's 7, or real close. If you wanted to use weights for these other exercises, you could do that as well. If you wanted to keep your weights for your squats, we're going to go right into it. We're going to try not to move or to stop moving. We're going to try to keep moving. So find that position, knees go out, hips go back, active all the way through the movement. You are gazing at a point out in front of you. Ah, yeah. My knees like to make a little bit of noise because that is my knees. Tight, engaged core, supporting your torso. And 1 more. Nice job. Come on down to the ground. We're going into push-ups. Find that hand placement a little bit wider than your shoulders. Elbow pits forward and lower. Press up 2. We're keeping that belly tight, no saggy bellies. We don't want our hips pointing straight up towards the sky. Our chest comes down towards our hands. Elbows stay back by our side. Nice job. And I'm calling that good. Flip on over, leg lift time. Feet up, whichever leg lift you'd like. I'm gonna have my hands behind my head this time. And we're going to lift, lower and lift. Here's 2. 3. Belly is tight, maintaining that low back towards the ground, belly button towards your side, spine. Brace that belly. Keep your neck and head relaxed. Continue to breathe. Oh, now I lost count. I need to have someone in here counting for me so that I can just talk. All right, last one. Even out those sides. Hey, you can roll over, or maybe for you, it's more comfortable to roll over to your side to press up and then sit up. Whichever. If you're using weights, grab your weights. We are doing our bent over rows. So get those shoulder blades in that kind of down and back position. Bend on over and pull. 1, 2. Core is still active. It's amazing how much our torso, our belly, and our back support our body through all sorts of different positions and movements. And that's it. Haha. Okay, we got 2 more. 2 more rounds for 4. Squatting. I'm going to face you this time. Hey. Feet are about shoulder width, toes out. We know that. Arms up. Turn on that belly. Hips go back. Knees come forward just slightly. We're focusing on the knee out position. Knees out. Keep them out as you stand up. Knees out, weight in our heels. Keep that core on. Ah, yeah. I'm gazing at the camera the whole time. That's where I'm looking. Yeah. And I think that's 7. Cool. Push-up time. Remember, a little bit wider than shoulders. We're intersecting the V for that perpendicular position. Find your hand position on the floor. Bring your shoulders over your wrists just a little bit. Turn on that core and push up. Man, when I really take the time to get my shoulders in a good position for push-ups, it makes such a difference. I'm not just saying that to say that. I say that because if I don't do it, my shoulders hurt. So it really makes a difference. Come on back onto your backs. Leg lift time. Got my hands under my hips this time. Lower and lift. I'm going to challenge you to think about what are some of those keys or cues we need to remember for leg lifts. Think about it. All right. We want that hollow body position. Low back towards the floor. Core is turned on. Belly button to spine, and we're bracing. And last set, we want to keep our head and neck relaxed. Ooh, if you remembered some of those, or maybe you got some others, awesome. Okay, been over row time. Remember, if you don't have weights, you don't have to. Just the act of engaging those muscles through the movement is awesome as well. So I've got my shoulder blades back and down, and I'm going to pull, trying to focus on the strength in my back as I pull the weights up towards that belly button level. It's not just working our back, we're working our legs and hips and glutes all at the same time here. Hamstrings are working to hold us in this position. Love it. Okay, last round. Huzzah! Okay. Let's find our squat position. Arms up. Wiggle those toes. Find your heels. Sitting back, pressing those knees wide. Sit up. Gazing forward, knees out. Legs active. Pinch that penny as you squeeze your glutes. We want those glutes working. Remember, you might be squatting towards a target. You might be squatting a little bit more shallow. You might have a super mature squat, and maybe you're squatting deeper. Good for you. Cool. Push-up time. Last round. Find that good hand position. Walk those knees back. Elbow pits forward. Rotate those shoulders. And lower and lift. Lower and lift. Elbows go back, not out. Arms are tucked by your side. You're lowering chest towards your hands. Hey, you might be lowering not as far, and that's fine. I think that was 7. I'm not afraid to admit that push-ups are my weakness. Okay, last round, leg lifts. Here we go. You know what we're looking for. That relaxed head and neck, hollow body, which means low back towards the floor. Our core is engaged. We have some of that belly button to spine action, and we have that bracing like the corset. Cool. Almost done. Now remember, you can modify this however you want. I talked through this really kind of slow today, but you now have the knowledge about getting your body in a better position. Roll on forward to be able to do this whenever and in whatever combination you want. Maybe you want to go faster. Maybe you want to set a timer and do these movements for a minute each. Totally cool. So we're hinging forward, shoulder blades are back, pull towards our belly. I like to have a pause at the top where I'm squeezing. That increases the time under tension in the movement. And for our muscle and muscle strength, that's where the magic happens. Time under tension. So time the muscles are working. So if we go really fast, and maybe it looks like we're flailing a little, we don't have as much time under tension. So just consider that. There's pros and cons. I don't want to say pros and cons. Different benefits to everything that you do. So guys, good job. Hopefully you now feel more confident in some movement patterns and able to throw these together to get a quick workout in wherever you are and with whatever time you have. Thanks for joining me.